What's good, Internet? My name is attackslug, and welcome to my 2016 WWE Hell in a Cell predictions video, where I go over my predictions for this show. That is this Sunday. There will be 8 matches. As always, let me know who you think is going to win down in the comments below, and I'll get into my somewhat long-winded thoughts on who I think will be victorious at this show this Sunday. So, first off, your kickoff match for the show is the Cruiserweight division. It is a 6-man. It is, let's see here, Cedric Alexander, Lince Dorado, and Sin Cara versus Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, and Arya Daivari, or whatever. Consequences of this match? Nothing. They're like, hey, Cruiserweights, Charlotte with the fucking sledgehammer already. Jesus. It's Cruiserweights. It'll be very purple and whatever. There's no real build here. It's just, hey, here's 6 guys. And I'm sure they'll have some great spots in the match, and, you know, they will have the crowd getting all warmed up and on their feet, perhaps. But at the end of the day, whatever. So I will say, hey, the faces win. Whichever of those teams is the faces win. There you go. Anyway, moving on to the show proper. We have Bayley versus Dana Brooke in one of the most pointless builds in a while that, you know, they've kind of had on shows here. They had that terrible arm wrestling segment that I have to believe is a tribute to Scott Steiner. But other than that, terrible on Raw to build this thing for this Sunday. And I don't care. I like Bayley. I think there is potential in Dana Brooke. This match, I do not care. Therefore, I will say it goes to Bayley. Whenever there's a match I kind of just really don't care about the results, then I'll usually go with the face, because that usually ends up with what ends up happening anyway. So yes, Bayley for the win. Where she goes after this pay-per-view, who knows? But certainly, she should be good enough to defeat Dana Brooke, of all people. Moving on, we have a tag team match between Enzo and Big Cass versus Gallows and Anderson. And again, the build here has been kind of a lot of this show, the build has been kind of lackluster in how they've got it set up. So I would think most folks would go with Enzo and Cass here, just because, you know, they're obviously getting much bigger reactions and people care about them more. But I think, once again, you're going to hit a do-or-die situation here with the club, in that, what is the point of continually trying to tell us that they are such a devastating tag team, and then they still lose all the goddamn time? So, I think for Enzo and Cass to lose here would not hurt their heat whatsoever. Would not hurt them, and there are smart ways to book that, where they lose and can still look good in losing. But if you kind of bury Gallows and Anderson here again, then you might as well send them back to New Japan, because you're not doing a damn thing with them, and they are just complete jobbers at this point. So seriously, do something with Gallows and Anderson, that soft reset where they were doing like the comedy ball doctor thing, and then decided, hey, we're not going to do that anymore, we're just going to be ass kickers. Make them ass kickers. Make them into a new version of the Acolyte Protection Agency, the APA. Have them drink beer, kick ass, and, you know, play cards. I don't fucking know. Something. Anyway, so yes, Gallows and Anderson for that win in that match. And the rest of the matches here are all title matches. And we start off with your tag team title match with The New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus. And the entire story is that Cesaro and Sheamus cannot get along. And, you know, they ended their best of 7 and ended up with a goddamn tag title opportunity, which was such a goddamn garbage thing to do. But they continually, and they have been doing this for months now, they continually reference the amount of days that the New Day has been tag team champions. So they are this close. They are this close to defeating the record. And I don't think that Cesaro and Sheamus is going to stop that. They're going to get that record. They might lose it right after that. But to go this far, to get this close to the record and not break it, is kind of illogical. That would just make all the times that you talked about it completely and totally worthless. So, and there's your winner and still women's champion, Sasha Banks. We'll get to that, don't worry. So again, I think Cesaro and Sheamus not quite getting it done. I'm sure there's be some kind of a miscommunication with those two. Where do they go from here? I don't know. I want better for Cesaro, and I could care less about Sheamus. So New Day continues their reign and will break that record. So next up we have the baseball bat, the Cruiserweight Championship, which is T.J. Perkins, the man with the worst video game dialogue in the world, which is, the quality of the Raw writers, versus the Brian Kendrick, the man with the plan, the Dirty Pirate, or, whatever the hell he is, for the Cruiserweight title. I think if there is any title change on this show, which usually, with 5 belts on the line, you figure at least one's going to change, I think more than likely they'll have this one change. Because what do you do with Brian Kendrick if he loses again for like the 3rd time, where it's his last chance? He's got to feed his kids. Stop stealing Heath Slater's gimmick. He's got to feed his kids. So yeah, that's where I sit on this match. I think if you have the faces win that kickoff show, then certainly of those faces, you could have them all be challenging for Kendrick as your Cruiserweight champion. But logistically, just put Neville in there. Have Neville be like the fucking final boss of the Cruiserweight division, because what the fuck else are you doing with Neville? You had him jobbed to Bo fucking Dallas. Anyway, moving on to this match, King Roman here, Roman Reigns, the guy, versus Rusev Machka for the U.S. title. Certainly a match, once again, designed to make Roman look strong. And I honestly don't know under what circumstances do you ever get that belt off of Roman and then move him up to the Universal title, which I know they clearly want to. Now, this show is being billed as having a triple main event, which, as we've discussed on this channel, is not a thing. Unless you're doing WCW War Games and you had 3 cells and 3 matches at the same time. The main event is the match that goes on last. That's why it's the main event. It's in the name. So, what match on this show is going to be the main event? I don't know. Apparently, a lot of folks want Sasha and Charlotte, and Vince is like, nah. So, what goes on last? I don't know. But if you ask Vince, I'm sure Vince would love to have Roman on last. But hey, make him look strong. So, I don't think Rusev gets it done here. I think, once again, Roman Reigns comes out on top, looking strong, with the fans booing him the fuck out the building, as they've been doing for, like a year and a half now, and they just still, he's a face, right? He's a fucking face. No, not really. Not really. They've gotten some crowds to cheer him, but by and large, it's just a lot of boos. So, Roman retains. I don't know who you'd use to get the belt off of Roman. Perhaps their next pet project, Braun Strowman. Bro, and speaking of which, why isn't Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn on this show? Like, I mean, I guess you've already got 8 matches, and you can save that for Survivor Series, I suppose. Or, Raw, most likely. Anyway, what might be the main event, but we don't actually know, is your women's title match of Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Flair. Now, they've changed all their video titles for the past couple of months. Instead of just saying Charlotte, she's now officially Charlotte Flair, because they've obviously gotten the Nature Boy out of the picture. So they're going to start calling her Charlotte Flair now, which is interesting. So, your first ever women's Hell in the Cell. What kind of crazy ass spots do they do? I've discussed before that I think that this story, they're having this whole story as it's historic, and not, hey, it's a blood feud and you end a blood feud at Hell in a Cell, because that is like the final part. Now the problem there is that Hell in a Cell is no longer a special attraction. It's just a show you have every year, so it just kind of it comes and it goes and whatever. I think that despite that sidelining of Sasha for like a month because of a back injury, the plan was to give her a nice long title run, and I don't think Hell in the Cell will stop that. Here goes Roman for the spear. I think that she retains the belt against Charlotte in what could be a crazy match with a lot of potentially dangerous spots. And hey, maybe perhaps she gets hurt again, considering the kind of shit that they get into, those two. Certainly a possibility. But yeah, I think Sasha retains here. I don't see a reason otherwise. And the bigger question is, how do they move forward? Although obviously they'll probably both be in that match. The five women's match at Survivor Series, most likely, or at least one of them will. So, anyway, your other of the three main events, we have Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins for what is supposed to be the most important thing on Raw, which is the Universal Championship. Even though, watching Raw last week, you would think the most important thing was the goddamn list. And also, Chris Jericho, not booked on this show. So, alright. I think certainly... Whoa there, Rusev fucking glitching out. I think certainly Chris Jericho will be involved somewhere in this match, and they might finally get on with the Jericho and Owens separation and have Jericho challenge for the belt, because he's going to be leaving, I guess, soon to go do some more Fozzy touring. So it makes sense to have him put over Owens before he leaves. I think that would be, the most prudent decision, or have another goddamn triple threat. I don't know. But by hook or by crook, I think the Kevin Owens show continues. I think Owens retains the belt in some fashion, and that may or may not close the show out. Nobody knows yet. So, there are my predictions. Let me know yours in the comments. So, as always, I am your host, attackslug. You know the drill. More videos every day. That's a submission. I'll see you next time, right here on this channel, and I'm out.